I was first trying to lose the weight, after losing 100 pounds, I remember when I would overeat just a little bit, or, if I would binge eat, I would feel so like the next day after, binge eating or overeating, I would feel like so guilty. I literally remember, when I would live with my parents, I would just sleep in all day because I just felt like a failure. And, I feel like that's a form of punishment, just that guilt, just trying to hide yourself, just because you're ashamed of, just overeating a little bit. And what really just fixed that for me was just embracing what you did, and, zooming out in the grand scheme of things. Like, I would be like, okay, am I gonna die? No. Like, if I zoom out, like, this problem is so little compared to everything else. Like, this is such a first world problem. Like, I should be grateful that I even got all that. I even have the resources to have all that food, have the money to buy all that food. Like, I should be grateful. And I'm just gonna forget about it. I'm gonna act like those calories didn't even count. It was just like invisible calories. I'm just gonna walk a little extra. No punishment, Cardi. Just walk a little extra. I'm gonna use all this food for, a good workout, and, I'm gonna use it to fuel my body, because at the end of the day, that's what it is. And it's okay. I'm human. You just gotta be a little forgiving. You gotta be forgiving, but it's not an excuse to. It's not an excuse to, keep doing it. You just you kind of have to embrace it, and, just let it be, and, just be better for the next time. But there's always another shot. You just can't be stressing. You can't let food have, have you in a chokehold, bro. That's very dangerous, and that's a very bad spot to be, because then you start looking at food very differently, and, I'm so glad I'm not there anymore.